hair flowed with the wind as she ran from the darkness which engulfed the forest yonder. The early morning beams of light lit up the night sky, meaning daylight would come sooner than she planned. Her indigo cardigan wouldn't protect her from the brisk cold morning that daylight brings with it. As she runs the last few inches to escape the shadows hidden under the forest pine, she hears a final roar of anguish as she runs further, without hesitation, back to her quaint little cottage. But as she looks back to the now quiet forest of shadows, she knows deep down this time will not be the last. Part 1. Violet, Hannah, Jared, Mia, family meeting, Mother shouted as I finished fixing my figure. Mother always held a family meeting at the beginning of each month, so my siblings, Jared, Mia and I, were no strangers to that call. The call that echoed throughout the entire house, alerting any living creature the living room was about to be occupied. But this November meeting, however, created a strange feeling churning in my stomach, creating an atmosphere of anxiety and fear. I slowly turned around, seeing nobody else in my room but myself and the stuffy air. So why did I feel the need to turn at all? I quickly exited my room, closing the door with a slam. I paused a moment, then proceeded down the hall. The sunlight from the nearby window transformed the bleak floral wallpaper Mother selected into a meadow of daisies and sunflowers. As I turned the corner to enter the living room, Mia and Jared were already present. Mother was standing in front of the fireplace. Jared's brown hair was unusually scruffy, but his clothes were the same as always. His blue eyes were prominent from the glasses he wore. Mia was the conservative type and was rather mature in my eyes for only a 13-year-old young girl. Her blonde hair was slightly curled, unbeknownst to her. All right, since Hannah has finally graced us with her presence, we shall begin the meeting, Mother started. Mia, what have I told you about going into Dandrige Forest? I've repeatedly stated that it's dangerous. But Mother, each flower blooms in the forest. That is enough of that, young lady. You will no longer go near Dandrige Forest, dare I say inside Dandrige Forest any longer. Do I make myself clear? Mia looked at the floor in defeat. In an attempt to help Mia, I released every ounce of anger Mother had instilled in me into one question. I immediately regretted it. What is it that you're trying to hide from us, Mother? I started. Pardon? Replied Mother. I do not understand why you persistently tell us to stay away from a seemingly harmless wooded area. So what are you hiding? Mother's eyes furrowed in silent rage as she stepped towards me in a calm manner. The calmness is what scared me the most. The way someone can be so calm and so angry simultaneously is frightening to me. Young lady, I don't know what you think you know, but I can assure you, the next time you... Ding dong, the doorbell sang, interrupting Mother before another. Altercation ensued. I see you were saved by the bell, Hannah. Luck is surely on your side, Jared said mockingly. Haha, very funny, brother, I began. Mia, I'm terribly sorry about what Mother did. She's being too protective of us, in my opinion. Mia scooted closer to me and Jared on the couch with a confused look on her face. Don't worry about me, Hannah. But did either of you expect any company today? Mia asked. It's probably just Father. You know how he forgets things for his store, Jared answered. But Father never rings the doorbell. Mia continued, looking back at the door as Mother opened it. After a moment, each of us saw who had rang the doorbell. Jared's eyes lit up with delight as mine filled with disappointment. Nathaniel, welcome, Jared said, embracing his friend in a hug. His brother Jake, on the other hand, is a thorn in my side. From the first day we met to right now, he has always done anything he can to get under my skin, and I haven't a clue as to why. Good afternoon, peasant. I do hope your day has been anything but decent, Jake began as he condescendingly bowed. The annoyance of this fool was vaguely visible from my facial expression, so Mia walked up to me in hopes to help me feel better. Don't let Jake get to you, Mia started, placing her hand on my shoulder. Who knows? Maybe he's a good guy once you get to know him, and not such an irritation, Mia finished, removing her hand from my shoulder. Maybe she's right, I mumbled under my breath. But as I was walking towards Jared, Nathaniel, and Jake, Mother approached Nathaniel and placed her hand on his shoulder, her usual sign that she desired the undivided attention of the room. So, boys, if I may be so bold, but why have you taken it upon yourselves to arrive at my home uninvited? Mother questioned. Oh, pardon the intrusion, Mrs. Northcott, but we have acquired a piece of your mail, Nathaniel said, nudging Jake to forfeit the mail. We stopped by on our way to the marketplace to deliver it, Nathaniel finished. The envelope was stamped with the red and blue insignia of a hound, alluding to the fact that it originated from City Hall. Jake retrieved the envelope from his bag, then proceeded to give it to Nathaniel, who then passed the envelope to Mother. Mother then used the end of the quill on a nearby desk to open the envelope without roughing it up. She began to read the letter. Jared, pack a light bag for your father and bring it to his store at the market. Make sure to pack enough spare cash for a carriage. I will allow you to accompany Nathaniel and Jake since they are also heading in that direction. But make haste if you would, Mother stated. Jared complied blindly to Mother's demands. But I, on the other hand, needed to know what was going on. Later, I'll look back on this and regret opening my ignorant mouth, but I shouldn't let my thoughts dictate my actions. Mother, what's the meaning of this? I hesitantly inquired. This doesn't concern you, Hannah, Mother replied while roughly grabbing her suitcase from the hallway. Mother hastily brought her suitcase into her room and quickly began packing a light bag. I followed, persistent. Mother, what did the letter say? Why does everything have to be made in a quick fashion? What is gonna... I paused, finally noticing the intensified glare Mother was giving. The window on the back wall let the sun's rays shine through and reflect on Mother. Mother put another article of clothing into her suitcase before she slowly turned and walked towards me. She paused 2 measly steps in front of me. Mother raised her hand towards my face to slap me. When Mother's hand got close enough, I readied myself for the pain. Slap. You insolent child! You dare to question me? No, Mother, I stammered, then took a big gulp. Mother took a step forward, forcing me to take a small step back. The next time you dare to question my reasoning, your porcelain face will not be the only part of you to feel pain, Mother finished, dropping her hand and roughly shoving me out of her room. With a sting in my cheek and a sullen look on my face, I joined Mia in the living room. A few minutes passed before Jared sauntered out of Father's room with a light bag. Jared grabbed his coat from the coat rack and readied himself to bring Father's luggage to his store. A moment passed. Then Mother appeared, wearing her coat and carrying her bag in hand. Mia and I joined Nathaniel and Jake. All right, we shall take our leave. Jared should arrive at home before 7 o'clock. Your father and I will be back the day after next. Whilst gone, no one should leave or enter this homestead under any circumstance. Is everything clear to you? Mother finished. Yes, ma'am. Jared, Mia, and I replied. Deep down, the thought of father and mother not being in the same home frightened me a little. Jared, Nathaniel, Jake, and mother left without another word. In the mere hours Jared had been gone, the silence of our home was murdering me from the inside. After a few days of patiently waiting, mother finally arrived home. Though there were some differences I noticed. Her eyes had changed from emerald green to ocean's blue. The fingerless gloves she had worn when I saw her last, along with her boots, were worn down and filthy. It was most unlike her. The moment she walked past me, I felt an intense rage and remorse looming from her entire self. The longer mother stood in her room unpacking, the more this aura grew with rapid speed. We never saw father come home. A few days later, all three of us set the table and awaited mother to serve. Mother is always punctual. We usually serve and eat dinner at exactly 6 o'clock. It was 15 past 6, and mother was quietly in her room. Jared made an attempt to check on mother and to inform her dinner was ready to serve, but he returned with his face white as snow. When Mia and I asked what had happened, he did not respond. We were both understandably concerned, but I presumed he was ill. I wish I had been right. Jared said that mother was ill and that she would not be joining us for dinner. Strange that was. Mother would never make up such an excuse to delay dinner. But I sat there, patiently waiting for Jared to serve dinner. After finishing the last of my plate, I stood up with the intention to deduce what the issue with mother's falsehood had become. Brother, may I be excused? I requested. I don't see why not. I left the dining area and didn't turn around. I could feel Mia's suspicious eyes staring daggers at my silhouette as I calmly walked down the hallway. Seconds passed until I was before mother's decrepit wooden door. I gradually raised my hand and managed a small fist to knock, but I then passively brought it back to my side. Knocking didn't seem too good an idea. First off, it would notify Jared and Mia of my actions. Secondly, it would enrage mother, no doubt. No, I shouldn't knock. I have to walk in. I shan't invoke the fighting spirit that is buried inside mother, awaiting the chance to be unleashed. I opened the door and took a few steps inside. Mother? I paused. There was a questionable being in the far corner. I continued walking in the room, cautious. Mother, is that you? Jared said you were unwell, so I thought... Thought what, child? Mother interjected with a hoarse voice. Mother stood, turning her now pale, cast upon me. My stars, what pale skin you have obtained. Don't fret, I'll send Jared to get the town physician. He should be able to assist you, I finished, turning around. I was inches away from the doorknob when mother harshly planted her hand on my shoulder and swiftly moved my entire body to face her. With mother's eyes now a glowing violet and her skin as white as sheep's wool, she forced me closer. I could see each bump on her face. Each wrinkle was now focused on me. The intruder, the disturbance, the nuisance who had the audacity to make thine presence known in mother's once tranquil room. Mother whispered in my ear. I could feel each breath she took. Each syllable bounced off into my head. What is it you most desire, Hannah? I stiffened. What did she mean? What did she want? I asked you a question, Hannah, so answer me, Mother exclaimed as she violently shook me. I know not what I truly desire, Mother. Mother backed up a step and grabbed my face. When night falls, Hannah, your true desire will find you. Mother released me from her grip, and I raced out of her room, quickly and quietly shutting the door behind me. I swiftly sped to my room and quickly but quietly shut the door behind me. I leaned against my door and listened to see if Mother left her room to terrorize anyone else. After a second or two, I stopped listening and leaned against my door, wondering if the events that occurred moments ago actually occurred and weren't one of those peculiar dreams. When night falls, it just turns 7 o'clock. Hardly any hours are left in this day before some sort of cataclysmic act transpires involving my true desire. Would Jared or Mia assist me? Number to ask Jared or Mia for aid would only confirm Mia's suspicions. Would Nathaniel or Jake help me? Considering the fact that Nathaniel wouldn't believe me and Jake loathes my entire existence, Elle can only guess Jake would be my best bet. Maybe since he doesn't care for the involvement of his older brother in his everyday life, that may be able to help me in this situation. Yes, Jake it is. I need Jared's satchel though. I don't know how long I'll be out. I opened my door slowly, making sure the hallway was safe for me to walk through. I left my room and my door ajar. The hallway was blackened without candles. It had been 45 minutes since I had excused myself from the table, and the dining area was eerily clean and darkened. I almost stumbled for the candelabra on the table when I noticed Jared's candle was still lit, flickering light underneath his bedroom door. Is Jared still awake at this hour? I whispered to myself, checking the clock near the front door. It was now 7:15. I needed to make haste. I made my way to Jared's door, silently grabbing his doorknob. Ow, I surprisingly whispered, jerking my hand back. Something isn't right here. Jared is never awake past 7 o'clock. It was too dark to notice what happened to my hand, but I couldn't focus on that right now. I pushed through the burning pain on my hand and opened Jared's door. Pure fear took over at that point. I completely froze. It felt as if I was having an out-of-body experience. Was this horror before me a dream? No, this was reality, my reality. Mother, what? What have you done to Jared? I queried, noticing Jared's satchel on his desk chair and the candle on the desk. Mother retreated from her hunched position over Jared's stomach to turn and face me. Jared's blood unfortunately leaking from Mother's mouth. Blackened blood stained Jared's once white sheets. Disgustingly, his small intestine was in Mother's tight clutches. Why? Why Jared? He was a good brother and a good son. Did I deserve this? Maybe, possibly, but this? Jared didn't deserve this. Pardon me, but who invited you to my feast? Mother inquired, leaning her head to the side in curiosity. She dropped Jared's small intestine on the floor. I panicked. I took a step forward towards Jared's desk. Answer me, Hannah. Mother raced towards me as I instinctively took hold of Jared's satchel and the candle on the desk. The adrenaline took over as I got my hands on the extremely heated doorknob and escaped Jared's room, locking the door from the outside. As I rushed to fetch Mia, I could still hear Mother slamming and pounding her fists on the door, screaming for me to let her out. I bursted into Mia's room without a second thought, the adrenaline still coursing through my veins. Obviously, Mia was initially upset with my actions, but as I explained the scenario I had put ourselves in combined with the continuous slams and pounds coming from Jared's room, Mia hurriedly adopted a pair of shoes and began to run with me towards Mia's door. I opened her door slowly. Mia, do you hear anything? There's not a thing to hear, sister.